It was an interesting moment for me at the time because I really wasn't seeking someone or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle. Even with your lies, I gotta survive. Instead, I'm gonna survive. I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive. Gotta survive. Instead, I'm gonna survive. This is not justice. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No peace. No justice.
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K Man, Mr. E paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child? Instead, I'm gonna survive. I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive. Gotta survive. Instead, I'm gonna survive. I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I've gotta survive. Gonna survive. Instead, I'm gonna survive. Gonna survive.
Welcome to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. We're coming live. Woo-hoo! I'm on point today. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to get through the whole show by sounding on point, but I am. I am so blessed. And I say that I always have to remind myself to thank God. Thank you, Jesus. For getting me up this morning and giving me another opportunity to be able to do this show, and just giving me another opportunity to say I love you to all my loved ones, and to be able to pray and do something different today than yesterday. I'm grateful. And I have to remind myself, because there's so many things that happen in my life that would make me feel like, oh my goodness, what is going on? How can I get through this? But God has protect my loved ones, and we are feeling safe. And I can only pray for that and thank him, because you just don't know what one's going through. There's people that's lost someone. I mean, I have friends that just lost somebody, and it was just devastating. And, you have people having, going through trauma, different things in their life. And you just don't know when someone's losing a loved one. And unfortunately, I have experienced that. A friend of mine lost somebody, and we're just in prayer with them. And it's just, you just don't want to forget. Life is so precious, and it's not guaranteed. Because today you might be here now, but tomorrow is not guaranteed. And I know that because things happen out of nowhere for people. And only thing I can say, I pray and I just ask for protection for my family. So I have to say thank you, Jesus, for that. Thank you. I'm very thankful today. Every day he gives me thankful, very. So I want to get some acknowledgments to people. Thank you for supporting me and watching the Three Corners of Deception movie. Thank you for sharing my posts. Thank you, all my social media friends and my fans and my family. Thank you for helping out, because there's things that I do every day, but I'm here because God allows me to be here. But I want to do something, and that something is to try to contribute to a social change or change in something. That's why it's so important for me to do the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, because we talk about so many things if it's in the judicial world or if it's in the film world or if it's just in the world. I'm not political, but I talk about things, how we can change, how we can do better, how can we be better people, how can we be nicer to other people, how can we be nice to ourselves, and practice self-care, because we have so many things in life that goes on, and you just sometimes you just don't want to do anything. And I try to help people one step at a time, one day at a time. It will change. I promise it will. As long as you're here, I promise it will change. It's going to get better. Whatever that is for you, if you pray, if you worship something, meditate, yoga, whatever it is, find that peace in you and it will come to a halt. It'll come to a halt eventually. And I have to say that to you because my platform is about positive psychology. I care about your mind. I care about trying to help you live better. And I care to try to give you resources on my show to help you live better. If it's finances or management or acting or modeling or the film or anything, judicial system or law, I try to help you with that. And I'm always going to try to do that as long as God is allowing me to. I believe in this method. I'm always going to believe in this method. Sharing is caring. And that's what I'm all about. I want you to be more knowledgeable in whatever that may be. And if it's something you don't know, I want to try to give you that information so you will know. And on that note, I have amazing guests coming in. So when I go ahead and go on break, she's been on the show before. Yes, I love it. I love it. So I'll be back, but don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network, where we're coming live. We'll be right back.
Hello, all. Three Corners of Deception movie is now available on Prime Video. How about that? October 14, 2023, on my 50th birthday, I am going to release this, and you guys can go ahead and help me do just that. Go see that movie. Thank you for all the support and not giving up on me. Go see that. Three Corners of Deception. Release me from all the pain and everything I've been through. Go see the movie. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for all of the support. Go see that movie. Prime Video. Prime Video. How about that? God bless you all. I love you all. It was really hard for me to do that movie sometime because at that time, because 10 years ago is what I went through. It wasn't then. So I had to take, even they say you play yourself. It's not really always easy to play yourself. You have to play yourself 10 years ago when your mind was discombobulated and you felt betrayed. You know what I mean? You felt like, life was just not it. And, not in my situation. And it is based on true events. And, unfortunately, it's about judicial deception, but it's also about romance and drama and divorce. It's something that just went to a different way. But as I changed it and went into a movie. But what's interesting about this situation, people don't understand. It's a flow technique for me. That was my release to finish this movie.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Well, we're coming live. Woo, I love it. Yes, thank you for tuning back in with me. So before I left on break, I told you I have amazing guests, but I also want to say thank you again for, watching the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show, and keep on sharing. And also, if you don't know, for new viewers, my social media, you can go check me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, YouTube. I am there. Or just Google the drmeleekaclary.com. You will find me. I am Google. I'm not hiding, folks. Come and look for me. I'm not hiding. So with that being said, I've had this beautiful guest and on my show numerous of times. I suck all the energy out of her, at least when I have her as a guest, because she is like full with knowledge and law and a lot of other things too, because she's also played in my movie as an actress and everything like that. She is a real attorney in real life. And I also love to bring her because we talk about numerous of different topics. And today we have an interesting discussion. And I think it's so important that people need to know because I even have questions too. So let's bring on amazing and beautiful, beautiful. And the only redhead that I really know is attorney Kristin Szczerbik. Come here, darling. Come on, Kristin. Get in here. Hi, beautiful.
I appreciate always that wonderful introduction. You make me feel so special.
You are to me. You are to me. Okay, just remember that. You are to me. Okay, I don't care. You are. All right, you are so beautiful. I love your hair. I'm telling you, you just glow. It's so beautiful. And it goes with your lipstick and everything. Yeah, I know. Let's smile so we can be like, hey, when I do my Snapchat and be like, yeah, let's get it, girl. I want to catch those moments so I can put it on IMB and everything. You know what? Oh, it's always a pleasure having you. Really, it is. Thank you so much for being a guest numerous of times. I really appreciate it because you know what, Kristin, we talk about a lot of things. And I know this topic we're going to talk about hits home, because I think it's like when we talk about juveniles and we talk about rehabilitation, when things happen to juveniles and how did that look for you? And, what do you do? And I think a heavy topic for me is when juveniles commit adult crimes. And before I go into the particular crimes, how do you feel about that? Because when you deal with that, a child commit adult crime, is that like, oh my goodness, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this in your world? Can you just give me a generalization or something? How do you deal with just that alone before I even get into different topics about, wow, I'm going to hit you?
Yes. I've been involved with juvenile law as well for a long time, 20 years, from different perspectives, mostly from the defense perspective. And other perspectives as well. But the juvenile cases always tend to hit harder for me personally. I'm a mom. All my kids are grown now, but raising them while I was doing all of these cases, they hit to me a little bit differently. When you're talking about juveniles and the situation that they're in, they didn't just get there. They weren't just born that way. They're in situations. They have family situations, mental health situations, and a lot of times there's cries out for help with what's going on. And so the second we get a juvenile case, or at least me personally, I do have a different feel for it than I do for adult case. Part of it is the focus, as you said, with juvenile law is rehabilitation. Adult law, it's punitive. You should have known better. You're going to be punished if you're found guilty. Juvenile law, it's, hey, we don't want you to have the stigma of being considered a convicted criminal. So we don't even use those words. We use different words. And how can we get you better so you can get out there and be a productive adult member of society? So those are kind of some of the first considerations when I get a juvenile case.
Oh, okay. And I have to say, because I think it's more like, can you feel like you can help them more so than an adult?
It depends. It depends on the situation, because I feel adults are receptive to help as well. And, I don't feel anybody's truly a lost cause. Everybody deserves the kind of help, but it's kind of intuitive that you believe that a child that is not done growing, not done maturing, that, your brain doesn't mature till you're in your mid-20s, that there is more potential to steer them on the right direction if they're given the tools and the environment to make that happen than perhaps an adult who may be a little more set in their ways or set in their addictions. And even if you don't believe that, certainly they deserve a better chance to make that happen than perhaps someone who's made choices that they've had opportunities. Some children, even though it's your choice to do the things that you do, they're put in situations that are out of their control, and that leads into a lot of what they do. So yes, absolutely. I go in it with a state of mind that we need to help. We need to see what we can do. And the other thing that's interesting, though, when you're representing a juvenile, and you have to talk to the guardian and the parent, but also the juvenile gets to help direct what they want to happen with their case. And sometimes there's a conflict with what I believe is best for that juvenile, and they want to do something else. And I have to advocate. If I can't convince them, I still have to advocate what their position is. So sometimes there is a conflict there, but most of the time I have a really good connection with my juvenile clients, and we can get on the same page.
What about, have you ever had, and I don't know if you have, what about a juvenile? And I know you get to speak to them because sometimes you're like a counselor, you know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
counseling them.
Yeah.
So, and you probably have opportunity to ask, what made you do this? And is it ever a situation that, hey, you know what? I'm surviving. This is what I got to do to live on the streets. You're not in my shoes. You don't live or you come from where I came from. That's my life. This is where I live here. And this is survival for me. So I don't see a choice. You ever heard of that? Because when I counsel so many children in the years, I've heard many stories. How about you?
Yes, absolutely. Some kids come in there with that perspective, and they feel there is no way out because they don't see a way out. They really feel that's it, and that's it's a survival. You're in fight or flight to get to the next thing that you need to happen for survival. So yes, some of them absolutely feel that way, but it doesn't change. That way of thinking doesn't change overnight. It requires a lot of tools that are available through counseling. And you got your fingers. Does that mean I need to stop?
Oh, we're gonna no. You know what? We're gonna come right back because I want you to answer that because I think that is something that juveniles do state. They say that a lot, and we're hearing this. You know what I mean? So I want you to keep that moment that we're talking about where they're coming from, the choice theory for a juvenile. Okay, we are going to take a brief commercial, and we will be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Don't go nowhere, fam. We are still with the amazing and beautiful Kristin. It was because of me having a voice and saying something about what had happened to me, because I can't believe it. I can't believe that these individuals put their good name and their reputation on the line just to hurt somebody because they spoke up. Yes, see, that's what happens when you speak up. I get it, but I'm not fearful because of that. Even though I went through a lot and still go through a lot of things, I got God on my side, and I feel like if that is not enough, then I don't know what it is. Because I'm still standing and I'm still telling my story, and I'm gonna keep on telling stories, and that is why I like film. Because film, you'll be able to express things that you went through, and experiences and people. You'd be amazed what you can do.
Hello, all. Three Corners of Deception movie is now available on Prime Video. How about that? October 14, 2023, on my 50th birthday, I am going to release this, and you guys can go ahead and help me do just that. Go see that movie. Thank you for all the support and not giving up on me. Go see that. Three Corners of Deception. Release me from all the pain and everything I've been through. Go see the movie. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for all of the support. Go see that movie. Prime Video. Prime Video. How about that? God bless you all. I love you all.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. We're coming live. We are still with amazing and beautiful Kristin. Come on in here, Kristin. How you doing, girl?
I'm good.
Good. Before we went on break, we was talking about choice theory. And I have to say, I say choice theory because, children, adolescents, teenagers, whatever we want to call them, they don't always grasp the understanding of choice and the theory behind it. So can you elaborate on, we were talking about hearing why they do something, why they committed the crime.
Right. Well, developmentally, obviously, they're at a different stage than adults, and we treat them differently with that. And you were asking about some of the things I might hear from the juveniles when they come in and they kind of feel hopeless or they're in a survival, fight or flight mode. Yes, some of them definitely present that way, and that is how they truly feel. Some of them it's just kind of a hardened shell, and you get them to soften up and realize things differently. Other children, you wouldn't ever expect them to be in the situation they're in because they're hiding those feelings really well, and they just kind of come in and they're really quiet, and you have to get to what's going on. What's interesting though is from attorney perspective, we don't usually get to the core of, did you do this? Did you not do it? Why not?
Yeah.
But it is different with juvenile law because since it's a rehabilitative approach, we do need to learn more about our clients so that we can help them. We don't want to see them back, even if they're great kids. I want to see them at the store or the gas station. I don't want to see them back in the courtroom. I want them to be a success story. I want them to be looking back at this one day and say, well, that was a mistake I made. It's not who I am. I know who I am, and can be a productive, member of society and all of that. So, and every person that comes in, especially juveniles, it's unique, and I do try to cater each approach to that individual and what they have going on. And if they're in the system, all the individuals who touch them through the criminal justice system, probation, prosecutor, judge, we have all kinds of special teen and juvenile programs. They are also catered to the individual needs of what's going on with that child. So it's very different from adult law in that perspective.
Yes. And, and it is. I mean, and when I talk to the juveniles, we go into, of course, I go deeper in why. I hear different stories, family, my father or my mother's doing this, and what they're doing is repetitious. Well, they did it. I can do it. There's nobody at home for these type of individuals to say no, because what they've seen at home, it's okay. It's okay to go ahead and sell crack because mom gave it to me to give it to the person down the street.
Yes,
or dad gave it to me to give it to the person down the street. It's like it wasn't something that was wrong, and they didn't see it being wrong. It was just something that was done. So when they learn, as they get older, it's wrong. But then at that point, and here's my other question, are they career, offenders because they started juvenile and some of them just keep going and not was able to be rehabilitated? Have you seen that ever?
I have, and it's sad, but I don't ever treat someone as though that is going to be the case. And sometimes I get frustrated with the system because we argue in court on behalf of our clients, and it may be a situation where the state has to argue, we've done everything we can do. And when I hear that, it always makes me cringe. Like, did we? Have we really? I don't feel that way, and I hate to send that message to kids. But it is true that the lineage that's come down from the environment of learning that this is okay because you see it in your environment, that absolutely happens too. I mean, when you were saying that, I couldn't tell you how many clients I've had, not just juvenile, but adult clients, where I'm arguing at sentencing for consideration and relief because and this is adult clients, their parent taught them to do this from a young age, and so they're doing it, and they're just now realizing why their addiction has led to what they have, and now they see the impact of them being gone in prison and doing drugs has had on their child, who I may end up having in the juvenile system one way or another. So absolutely. And a lot of my juvenile clients will when you look to the family situation, that's kind of the first place you go. But it's not everybody. I absolutely have plenty of juvenile clients that come in with what some may consider a quote unquote perfectly normal family. And you say, well, how could this happen? Because, they're children and choices are made with the friends they hang out with. Mistakes are made, and you have to look at it that way. And you can't just say, oh, it's the family's fault, it's this or that. There's all kinds of reasons why actions are taken and choices are made. And it is hard for the limited time I have with these kids, because I can't help but to mom them on top of being their attorney. I just can't help it, with their guardians, parents' permission sitting there, of course, and how I present to them. And I just can't help but to try to get them to see how their choices are, the consequences of those, and how it's impacting them, and give them some hope for the future. You can change this. You have the power to change this. And
That's right.
Conversations we have about that.
Wow. And you know what? I love that you said that. You have the power to change it. You can. I mean, even being, because their personalities develop like 5 years old. So we know they can, if you keep on implementing it in them, they can be changed. It's just your surrounding. We're going to talk about that. But we're going to take a brief break. We'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Do not go nowhere, fam. We'll be right back.
It was really hard for me to do that movie sometime, because at that time, because 10 years ago is what I went through. It wasn't then. So I had to take, even they say you play yourself. It's not really always easy to play yourself. You have to play yourself 10 years ago, when your mind was discombobulated and you felt betrayed. You know what I mean? You felt like, life was just not it. And, not in my situation. And it is based on true events. And, unfortunately, it's about judicial deception, but it's also about romance and drama and divorce. It's something that just went to a different way. But as I changed it and went into a movie. But what's interesting about this situation, people don't understand. It's a flow technique for me. That was my release to finish this movie. It was because of me having a voice and saying something about what had happened to me, because I can't believe it. I can't believe that these individuals put their good name and their reputation on the line just to hurt somebody because they spoke up. Yes, see, that's what happens when you speak up. I get it, but I'm not fearful because of that. Even though I went through a lot and still go through a lot of things, I got God on my side, and I feel like if that is not enough, then I don't know what it is, because I'm still standing and I'm still telling my story, and I'm gonna keep on telling stories. And that is why I like film, because film, you'll be able to express things that you went through and experiences and people. You'd be amazed what you can do.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network, where we're coming live. We are still with amazing Kristin. Come on, Kristin.
I'm here.
We just hear the stories behind the scenes, don't we? It's so much fun. I'm telling you. Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, you know what's interesting, and before we went on break, we was talking about the environment, but we also was about to hit on the social environment, because that is a big play. And I cannot stress your surroundings, who you hang out with, can impact what you do. And because everybody wants to, especially children, developing their mindset, their mental state of mind, finding a leader within themselves, and they are followers before that even get to that point, and want to be cool and acceptance, you know what I mean? So when you're hanging with the other crowd that's like, hey, I'm doing this, let's be a cab, or let's jump in to do this, and let's steal this. You good? Come on. You know what I mean? Some people, they could be quote quote get good kids. I think all kids are really good. It's just that some other kids feel like, hey, we want to do this thing, but other kids is like pressure. There's kind of like peer pressure. Why not do it? I'm just gonna follow and do it. And I think that is something that does happen a lot.
Absolutely. Peer group is so important that it's one of the things that juvenile probation officers should take into consideration. And they'll say, all right, you're not allowed to hang out with this particular peer anymore because you weren't behaving appropriately, and some of the rules that are implemented in the house. But absolutely, kids trying to develop, depending what age they are, trying to develop who they are as a person, their ability to stand up and understanding right and wrong, and fully thinking through consequences. That's the other thing too. In the middle of a peer pressure situation, that can be hard. And absolutely, I have kids who are just along for the ride, and they don't even know why they did it. And it was just they were there and they did something because other people did it, and then they start to learn the impact of what they did. Oh, you didn't just take something from somebody. That person feels violated. That person is harmed, and you need to think about how that impacted them. And what's interesting is for some of the lesser crimes, there are, at least in Indiana and in some of the counties, we have special programs where people can have a diversion outside of the normal treatment of the law, and they can do a program. We have one called Teen Court. It's in Marion County and in Johnson County. We're trying to get it in some other counties as well. I've been involved with this for many, many, many years. So law school, actually, I was involved with it as a juvenile, and then in law school, and then I've been involved as an attorney as well. And it's a program where kids go in, they have a mock court, and the other juveniles decide what that child who's been accused of a crime is going to do. What is their rehabilitation? Sometimes that involves a very involved apology to their family or to whoever was harmed. All these kind of letters, writing, community service hours, but the other juveniles determine what's going to happen, and they sign up for this system. And it's a really interesting, eye-opening experience. Not everybody, not every type of offense can qualify for that. Obviously, it's some of the lighter things.
Yes.
But that can be eye-opening and literally life-changing for some people, and putting them on the right path and the right direction. So there are programs available for all different levels. But I think some of the things that you probably see more are children who are at some of the higher level of offenses because they have a lot more going on in their lives.
Yes. Well, they've been doing a lot of things too. And, I stick with a lot of behavioral. And my point is I don't always just look at the parents. I look at the social environment. What is the conditions? What's their state of mind? What they're thinking? I go through a number of evaluations when I start talking to children, teens and stuff like that. And, I find out certain things, this person at school is picking on me. So they're picking on you and you feel violated. And so you chose to pick on someone else because of that. See what I mean?
Right.
And I have to go further. Why do you feel that way? Why I feel tough and then no one will bother me? Because if I do this, people will think that I'm not the one you want to mess with. You know what I mean? And I would say this goes across the board, females or males. And because bullying is a big thing too. And I quote unquote, I am against bullies. And I am because I've been bullied when I was younger. And I hate bullies. And I fought back to a point that I was just like, I fought back to a point that I probably was a bully to somebody else because I fought back. I was like, no, you're going to keep on messing with me. I'm going to mess with you. You know what I mean? Stop messing with me. But if you stop, I will stop. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I know it happens in elementary and middle school because I'm a product of that. I don't like bullying. I can't stand it because people bully for different reasons. So you just don't know what happens and why these juveniles start going into crime because, either somebody might have bullied them or they felt that they had to do it or, a family. Of course, I go further deeper in to find out because I'm all about the mind. Why do you think that way? What happened? And I go beyond the surface. And I just think it's so important to find out what are you thinking at that moment. Now, not a lot of people is going to deep in, go and dig in, but that's my responsibility because that's what I like to do because I do believe in change. I do believe in the juveniles can change. But I also believe that we as adults needs to show something different. You know what I mean? So they can change. So because they can be helped. And I believe adults can be helped too. Okay? Because they have to change at a certain age. And it's like, you can do it. Trust me. It's not over for you. You can make it happen. You know what I mean? And I know it's hard, but I think adults we really need to try harder to change our ways so then the younger eyes can see change and it's not that difficult. And you know what? If you have a comment, we are going to take a brief commercial. We're going to take a brief commercial. We'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave TV network. Do not go on film. We will be right back.
Hello, all. Three Corners of Deception movie is now available on Prime Video. How about that? October 14, 2023, on my 50th birthday, I am going to release this, and you guys can go ahead and help me do just that. Go see that movie. Thank you for all the support and not giving up on me. Go see that. Three Corners of Deception. Release me from all the pain and everything I've been through. Go see the movie. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you for all of the support. Go see that movie. Prime Video. Prime Video. How about that? God bless you all. I love you all.
It was really hard for me to do that movie sometime because at that time, because 10 years ago is what I went through. It wasn't then. So I had to take, even they say you play yourself. It's not really always easy to play yourself. You have to play yourself 10 years ago when your
Right.
mind was discombobulated and you felt betrayed. You know what I mean? You felt like, life was just not it. And, not in my situation. And it is based on true events. And, unfortunately, it's about judicial deception, but it's also about romance and drama and divorce. It's something that just went to a different way. But as I changed it and went into a movie. But what's interesting about this situation, people don't understand. It's a flow technique for me. That was my release to finish this movie.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary show on the Bold and Brave TV network where we're coming live. All right. We are still with amazing Kristin. Come on in here, Kristin. All right. All right. So before we left on break, we was talking about, change, but we was talking about how to make those changes, even being adults. And I know it's difficult because, you think about you do something repetitious every day and you try to change it and you're like, daggone, I did it again. You know what I mean? So I get it. It's not easy, but we got to make that change. It's important.
Absolutely. You had also hit on something I thought was interesting, and which is you're talking about, a child's bullied, so they bully the next kid and on down the line. And it is true that many victims of crime perpetrate themselves, such as the example that you gave, and that it becomes a pattern. And sometimes not just juveniles, but in adult life, there is a response that's triggered that's actually a trauma response. That's something that happened to them earlier, and recognizing that that's what that is, and why the anger may develop to cause, an outburst that could result in violence or something else is important to know, because then when you have that knowledge, then you can start to address it. Some kids will internalize that. They'll just say, I'm a bad person. I hate myself. I don't know why I do this. And the reality is, a lot of times it's a trauma response, like we said, that's triggered by something.
That's
So
right.
places like counseling and people like you that can help the children get to the bottom of that so that they can make change. Because behavior changes, they take time and understanding
Yes.
to be implemented to occur. Absolutely.
And absolutely, I agree with you on that. And I think it is very important. And I think for people to watch this segment, to parents to understand, change is just not just with the children, but with you guys too. We can all make that change to make a positive moment in our young ones' lives and growing up. Because you have people growing every day and people are having babies. I mean, hey, we got to change something because something else is not working. So let's make it work. Some things are working, some things are not. You're not going to be 100%. I wish we would, but then that means we had a perfect world here. We don't have a perfect world. So therefore, we got to make and try to do what we can do, what we have.
Right.
Point blank.
I
want to, that's, through the court system, we need to change some things about the court system as well. And I don't know where it could start at. I mean, some things work, some things don't, and we need to do better. I mean, it's, I have to say that, and I will say that, because when you're in the system, sometimes for people, it's a workload for a lot of people, and some people start looking like statistics. And that's what we need to change too as a society. Stop looking at it as a statistic and say, hey, it's, okay, happens. And
right.
I
agree with you on that. And identifying, so the juveniles, that's the thing too, is identifying why it's so different. And I think there is opportunity for change even through the court system. We're providing the services and the tools that they may not have otherwise. And I mean, I've had cases where I've realized the juvenile is looking to all of us that are connecting to them in the court system as their family, because they don't have their who's considered biological family isn't there. And then they start seeing their providers, the judge, the attorneys, probation officers as their quote unquote family. And I realized that's because these are the ones who are encouraging them and helping them. And then they want to succeed and want those people to be proud of them. And of course, everybody is and shows that. And I've certainly seen what we would call success stories.
That's right.
Situations, whether they have a strong family support or they don't have a strong family support. I have definitely seen children make it through this, get to the other side, and become, like we say, productive members of society. But
that's right.
They're able to put this behind them and look at that as their learning experience and not let it define who they are for the rest of their life.
And absolutely, I've seen so many of those stories too. And with the positive influences, and it could be a teacher, a coach, some type of leader, a counselor, a nurse, at the school, just giving you that little pep talk, you know what I mean? And you remember that, and they come back and they tell you, so it's interesting. And believe me, I know. I mean, I wasn't the best adolescent, but I wasn't the worst, but I was the one that probably didn't want to go to school all the time. But so I think they were surprised when they heard about me. Not that hooky one. She was hooky every other day. So, but my story is different. But everybody has a story. You know what I mean? But it's still a success story that you got your act together. You got some act right.
Yes.
And that's what it is. That's what we want. The juveniles, get your act right. Get you some act right. And we here to help you out. But here's the thing that...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was
Oh,
gonna
I know. I'm gonna.
say, even with you were talking about being bullied when you were younger,
Yeah.
and I think I can see with you how that developed that sense of justice, and you have turned that around in a positive way and are using that to help others. So many people through all of the your story that you tell through
That's
the
right.
movie, the work that you do through this.
That's right.
I really, I don't know your whole life story, but you've got to say you would think that's probably part of defining of who
Very
you are,
much.
impetus to do something good from something
That's
negative.
right.
You know?
That's right. I appreciate that observation of me because I do. And that's why I don't like bullying, even if it's whatever, if it's outside, neighbor, or in the judicial system or anywhere, workplace. I don't like bullying. And I don't like people taking advantage of the weak or the powerless just because you can. And I don't like that. Or because your presentation. I can't stand that.
Yeah.
And I think all three of my kids has been bullied once upon a time in their life. And I was the first advocate that came to school and talked to parents and went to the house and said, this ain't going to go down like this. We either going to talk about this or something's going to be taking place. One of the two. And they know, they'll tell you that. I'm not the one. I'm not the one. I'm going to talk to the parent. I ain't going to just talk to kids. And I had some talkings with the kids too. And I've been a speaker. I've been a speaker and talk in front of people and was like, no. Let me tell y'all about bullying people. Then the school asked me to come in and represent and do a presentation. I said I have no problem with it, no problem. And was it Black Month? Okay, I'm coming. I remember that because it was Black Month. It was that month, and so I was like, okay, I have no problem. We'll talk about it all. So, but it's dear to my heart because, like I said, I've been there, done that, and I can't stand it. So when I see somebody else innocent and bystander and just being pushed around, and it just starts this at young age, and it goes so further if nobody else stops the individual. And on that note, goodness, time just moves. Okay, we have to take a break. We'll be right back with the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV network. We'll be right back, fam. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
It was an interesting moment for me at the time because I really wasn't seeking someone or anyone, I should say. I just hoped if I did meet someone that they would be a positive person to meet. Everything he was saying and doing was making me fall in love with him.
A lot of people quit going, that's just how it got to be. But she keeps on fighting and it takes a lot of guts. No justice, no peace!
You two are like two immature cartoon characters.
Objection. Where's any of this evidence of this?
Order.
I'm sanctioning you for $15,000.
I have a right to see my son.
This is all about a child. A poor boy born into a battle. Even with your lies, I gotta survive. Instead, I'm gonna survive. I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive. Gotta survive. Instead, I'm gonna survive. This is not justice. No justice. No justice. No justice. No peace. No peace. No justice.
You're trying to have a judge removed.
I'll sanction her for thousands of dollars for coming to court.
How much money is Mr. K and Mr. E paying you and your fellow judges to keep this woman away from her child? Instead, I'm gonna survive. I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I'm gonna survive. Gotta survive. Instead, I'm gonna survive. I gotta survive. Even with your lies, I've gotta survive. Gonna survive. Instead, I'm gonna survive.
Welcome back to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV Network. We're coming live. All right, Kristin, get back in here, girl. Yes. Welcome back, my dear. All right. You know what, Kristin? We never have a whole lot of time to talk about things. Then we're gonna have a part 2 of a juvenile 2 next time that you come out. I'm gonna note that down because we have so much more to cover that we talk about. We need to talk about. But one thing I will because we only got a couple more minutes left. I think it's so important is to let people know. We talk about juveniles, we talk about how to change something, we talk about wanting to change something. I think it's important for us to understand that we can change something. I think you can make those changes. And I think that people think that they're stuck and they can't make those changes. And I think for kids, they don't understand that you can. And I would say this I gotta give this because I almost forgot about it. Adults, you can be a product of your own environment. If you grew up in a situation that you're like, I don't like this environment, and you decide to have children, you have a decision that you can move from that environment. I mean, even if you're on government assistance or anything like that, they take government assistance other places too. And still, I will say that. And even if you're not on government assistance and you're just working, you know what? They have jobs, they have resources. You can find other jobs. And to be honest, when you go like a suburbs, you would think it'd be more expensive. A lot of places are cheaper. Okay. It may be, you just got to get the resources out there. You got to research. But part of the job of responsibility of a parent is to change your environment. You can get a change out of your children too. I think it's important because one thing before I had decided to have children, and this was at 18, I didn't have a child at 18, but I said where I am, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad area, but it wasn't the greatest area to raise children. Because the only thing I saw is for me as being a female, everybody getting pregnant at 16. And I was one person as that person like that too. And I lost a child. But I noticed that this is my direction. Drop out, have a child at 16. Everybody's doing it as a norm. It wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't. It just wasn't frowned at like, oh my gosh, my child got pregnant at 16. All my friends had their real babies. I had Cabbage Patch it all. I was like, okay, no need for Cabbage Patch anymore. Everybody went to real babies at 16. And I wanted one too. And, whatever happened, I changed up because things happen in life. And I was like, oh, no. God had decided, nope, not going to happen. So I ended up losing a child, which was, to me, I was okay with that because it's something I wanted to happen in that way. He asked, I didn't have miscarriage. Long story short, what I got out of that was that, okay, get back into school. If I do have a child, change your environment. I don't want to have a child in this environment. And that is a decision I made as an adult. I wanted to be somewhere else to have children, and I wanted them to have a better opportunity. And that's something that it was hard to leave my environment and the friends that I've grown so close to leave and raise my children somewhere else. And I know we're running out of time, but I need to have to say that because it starts with us as adults too. We can make a change. We can make a change together. Now, thank you again, Kristin. If you're looking for Kristin, please Google her. You can find her. And she's on here, so find her. You can find her. She's around. You can find her. Google her. She is around. Attorney Kristin Szczerbik. You can find her. And with that note, I'm going to end. We will have a juvenile 2. She will be back. We will talk about it again. We're not finished with you guys. We have to try to educate you as much as possible. So until then, thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show on the Bold and Brave TV Network. I love you. I appreciate you. And I ask you to have a wonderful rest of the day. And please, God bless you and the weekend to come. I love you so much. And please pray. I'm praying for everybody to enjoy life. One step at a time, one day at a time. God bless you all. Take care.
You've been watching the Dr. Meleeka Clary Show. Tune in next week as Dr. Meleeka will help you shift towards a better life. But this show doesn't stop there. She'll provide helpful tips regarding surviving the entertainment industry and the judicial system with practical information. Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, here on the Bold Brave TV network.